Just a quick shout out to Rocket and Turtle Beach for sponsoring us. To get a gear discount, you can find it in the description below. After what seems like forever, 17 years after to be exact, the sequel Titan Quest II was announced this week. During the THQ Nordic showcase, the action RPG was revealed with an announcement trailer. The game will have the mythological backdrop of a reimagined Greece. The major threat this time is Nemesis, the goddess of retribution. Wreaking havoc, she is corrupting the threads of fate and of course, crushing any who opposes her. Players will engage in epic battles alongside the gods, hopefully putting fate back into the right hands once again. The title is being developed in Unreal Engine 5 and will have a handcrafted world with stunning vistas for players to survive in, travel upon Mount and discover its secrets. While there will be certainly some new features, returning is the original masteries system, this time with 8 trees to unlock and 2 masteries to mix. Creating your own hero to take on enemies that will even work together and even form factions that combine abilities as well as skills. Titan Quest II also promises to uphold the importance of loot. Even the most common gear found can be upgraded. In case you missed it, be sure to check out our video which goes over the announcement in more detail and our reactions as well. As with all the news mentioned in this video, if you want to know more, there is a link in the description below. A few months ago, BKOM Studios announced that they will be combining a bullet hell with Paizo's tabletop in Pathfinder Gallowspire Survivors. They have now shared that the game will be heading into early access on September 14th this year. Taking the stand as one of the mighty heroes, fighter, wizard or rogue, players will withstand hordes of enemies. Each has their own strengths to bring to the table and abilities to help aid the push against the Tarbathon. It also looks like you'll be rolling for loot with a 20-sided dice. Some RNG will determine what kind of loot will be given. Of course, you can equip your hero with weapons and spells that you collect to upgrade your kit. BKOM revealed the action-packed game would be sharing the same universe as such CRPGs as Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous, but putting an interesting spin with its bullet hell chaos and its Vampire Survivors-esque combination. Those who are eager to get their hands on Pathfinder Gallowspire Survivors can get an early peek if they're heading to Gamescom next week. Speaking of Gamescom, Jeff Keighley, the host and producer of the conference, revealed that Opening Night Live will this time focus more on game updates than game announcements. Trying to keep fans' expectations in check, August 22nd, which is the date for Opening Night Live, will primarily focus on updates of games already announced, but he did tease these are the biggest games that are due out next year. So what can we expect to see at Gamescom 2023 Opening Night Live? Keighley lists the horror sequel Alan Wake 2, which will be coming out in October, as well as the major Souls-like Chinese fantasy title Black Myth Wukong. We're definitely excited to see more Wukong, as the fantasy retelling of the Monkey King is a feast for the eyes. We're eager to see more of what this game has to offer as we await its release, which is set for summer in 2024. Last year's Gamescom Opening Night Live spotlighted 35 games over the course of the 2-hour livestream. Are you excited for Gamescom? Maybe there's a title that you're looking forward to seeing more of. Let us know in the comments below. Moving on to some more online gaming, Lost Ark has been chugging along with its content. The online action RPG just got another big update introducing the Aeromancer class in the West. This DPS class wields the power of the weather, and come rain or shine, her magical umbrella has her prepared. The Aeromancer can unleash the elements with things like tornadoes, whirlpools, thick fog, and wiping wind to deal magical damage. On the other hand, she can make use of her umbrella to hit things really hard, oftentimes in combination with nature's fury. A new Legion Commander raid and new Guardian raid also introduced in the update. Akan the Plague Legion Commander is quite deadly and relishes spreading disease and death. The 8-player 3-phase Legion raid is going to be one of the toughest encounters, as the normal mode will require players to be at a minimum item level of 1580, while hard mode is more like 1600. To help players gear up for these monumental tasks, Smilegate and Amazon Games are implementing some quality of life features as well as catch-up events. For example, Chaos Dungeons will have monsters spawn much faster, move quicker, and seek out players more efficiently. There will also be Power Passes and Super Makoko Express events, getting players to the higher levels much faster. September 2023 will introduce new Jumpstart servers, which will be instances where players will be basically starting from scratch. This is to incentivize new and returning players so that everyone starts on equal footing. Coming up in October will be the new region Placia, which is a continent of romance, art and freedom. It's a real renaissance area, plus a new advanced class Soul Eater for the Assassin's class. Now moving on to your favourite CRPG, Larian Studios revealed some major stats for Baldur's Gate 3. Altogether, players have spent at least 10 million hours playing the game in the opening weekend. To put that in context, that's about 1,225 years. Also, players apparently have lent towards more of the side of good than evil, with 65% choosing to save the Grove. Are you someone who sided with good or evil? Let us know in the comments below. Out of the origin characters, the top three were Gale taking the top spot, Karlach in second, and Astarion in third. But Larian is ramping up their milestones as just this August 14th, the game has hit a new record on Steam with over 875,000 concurrent players according to SteamDB. Larian Studios has been actively speeding up bug fixing in recent weeks. These include progression issues like spell slots, preventing players who have multi-classed from leveling up. Good news for PlayStation 5 players, the developer has announced when you can start preloading. The exact time for the Deluxe Edition preload has been shared as August 31st at 4 PM UTC. For those who have pre-ordered this edition, you can gain early access on September 2nd. However, for those who have purchased the Standard Edition, they will need to wait until September 4th, 4 PM UTC, and will be able to start playing on September 6th. One benefit for PlayStation 5 owners is that Larian has been busy releasing hotfixes for the game on PC. Everything that's been patched for the PC version will be the same for PlayStation 5. Just recently they released hotfix 4, but shortly rolled it back after some issues. It has been since redeployed and has also altered the way future patches will be released. Raring to go, we have some very helpful Baldur's Gate 3 guides you can go watch if you're planning to play Baldur's Gate 3 on PlayStation 5. Genshin Impact also got a big update this week with the release of version 4.0. This update brings the area of Fontaine to Tevat, with an underwater biome to explore. This brings new stories, characters, and automatons known as Gardamex. This means new ways to explore, including diving underwater, with the new stamina mechanic. Don't worry though, you won't drown if you run out of stamina, so good news there. It also brings fight mechanics for the undersea region. Genshin Impact 4.0 adds a slew of new events and minigames that eager travelers can take part in. And it wouldn't be a Genshin update without some new characters to wish for. Currently players can wish for sibling duo Linny and Lynette, Linny being a pyro bow character and Lynette being an anemo sword wielder. Players can also tune their characters to the Hydro Vision, which grants new Hydro abilities to use. We were exploring the new region over on our Twitch channel this past week, which has been a lot of fun. If you're a returning player, Fontaine requires you to have completed the prologue Archon quests up to the 3rd act Song of the Dragon and Freedom, and at least be Adventure rank 40 to access the new Archon quest. Launching into early access this week was the action RPG Wayfinder. Slightly delayed from its original early access launch date by 2 days, the game is now live for those who have purchased the Founders Packs. In case you missed it, Wayfinder is an online action RPG or an MMO Lite. The developer Airship Syndicate is behind such games as Darksiders Genesis and the Ruined King, the League of Legends story. In our closed beta early impressions, we called the combat fast-paced, which is both fun and fluid. Players can customize their experience by selecting unique modifiers and augmentations. Using the ancient artifact called the Gloom Dagger, players can adventure into the Lost Zones or dungeons. These dungeons are affected by the gloom, meaning variations in environmental hazards. Wayfinder also features a roguelike element, meaning no 2 play sessions will be the same. Taking up the role of different Wayfinders, Wingrave, Silo, Nis, Senja, and Kryos, those who purchase a Founders Pack will also gain access to Venomous. Wayfinder is currently in early access on PC via Steam, PlayStation 4, and PlayStation 5. When the game fully launches, it will be a free-to-play title for multiple platforms. Swing by our wiki to learn all the latest info on abilities, characters, and more. Starfield developers have recently held a Q&A live stream on the official Discord server to reveal more details about the world we're about to embark in. The game has now gone gold, which means it's all set for release day on September 6th. Players can already start preloading the game on Xbox consoles, and for those on Xbox Game Pass, for Steam preloading will commence on the 30th of August. New details were confirmed, including housing in multiple cities. These cannot be only purchased, but they can in fact be acquired as a reward by completing specific quest lines. For those who have never played a Bethesda game before, worry not, as the developer assures players will be able to go at their own pace. Choices will play a part when it comes to character customization, as we know that the background of your character will depend on the choices you make in relation to traits and backgrounds, but if you want to go in with no traits and start things off a little unknown, an anonymous background is possible. Other tidbits shared were the number of companions available in Starfield. There will be over 20 companions whom you can recruit. 4 of these belong to the Constellation group. In addition to each of their backstories, they come with a specific set of perks, such as being adept at wielding rifles or improving their gravity jump range, since they specialise in astrodynamics. So with everything that you've seen of Starfield so far, are you going to be playing on day 1? Let us know. Be sure to hop on over to our Starfield wiki for more info on the game and prepare for your journey into the stars. Well, that's it for the week in the wikis. Please join us again next week for yet another great week of gaming. Remember to check out our VIP program for some exclusive supporter benefits. And budding writers should take advantage of our Become an Author initiative. Thanks again for being part of this great community. Keep checking in with us with news, reviews, YouTube streams and vids, and general wiki goodness.